Did Apple and Google just quietly jump on the XRP bandwagon? Well, the crypto community went crazy over a rumor that these tech giants were suddenly endorsing XRP. But the truth that I've uncovered is even more surprising because the story has twists, it has misconceptions, and unfortunately a reality check that every XRP holder needs to hear. So stick with me because you won't believe how this actually ends. So, there I was, casually scrolling through my feed, when I see posts blowing up about a huge XRP piece of news. Whispers that Apple Pay and Google Pay are now effectively partnering with XRP. Now, some people were claiming, hey, you can buy XRP through Apple Pay in 40 countries. Apple and Google must be giving XRP their nod of approval. Now you can imagine, right? Apple and Google, two of the biggest tech companies on the planet, supposedly endorsing a cryptocurrency. As an XRP holder myself, I felt that familiar mix of excitement and skepticism, right? Part of me thought, there's just no way. This could be an absolute game changer. While another part of me was, this sounds a little bit too good to be true. Now, I mean, we've all heard outrageous crypto rumors before, right? But this one was kind of next level. Google and Apple embracing XRP. Now, if true, right, that would be like finding out that your favorite teacher secretly wrote you a recommendation letter, totally unexpected and potentially life-changing. Naturally, I had to investigate. In the crypto world, where misinformation spreads like wildfire, doing a little digging is basically a survival skill. And oh boy, am I glad that I did, because here is the real scoop. The rumor was way off base. It turns out, yes, users in dozens of countries can now buy XRP using Apple Pay or Google Pay. But that does not mean that Apple or Google are suddenly XRP fanboys. In fact, a savvy software engineer, a well-known XRP community member named Vincent Van Code, actually stepped up to debunk this hype train before it actually went completely off of the rails. Now, Vincent saw everyone freaking out and essentially said, pump the brakes, guys. This isn't the big deal that you think that it is. You see, according to Vincent, the truth is much more mundane and a lot less headline grabby, right? Now, in his own words, it's not a big deal. This doesn't mean Apple or Google endorsed XRP. It just means that someone implemented payments to buy XRP. Now, let that sink in. Now, all that happened is that some crypto platforms have integrated Apple Pay and Google Pay as payment methods, and that is it. There's no secret meeting between Tim Cook and Brad Garlinghouse, no Google devs slipping XRP code into Android devices, no, just a new payment option in a few different applications that sell crypto. It's kind of like a crypto exchange started accepting Visa or MasterCard. You wouldn't say Visa is endorsing XRP, right? It's the same logic right here. Apple Pay and Google Pay are basically just fancy credit card processors on your phone, right? They're letting people use their normal payment cards through Apple or Google interface to basically buy cryptocurrencies. Now, the XRP that you buy still comes from a cryptocurrency exchange or service on the back end, not from Apple's vaults or Google's coffers. Vincent even pointed to one example, a platform that is called Swapped, basically integrated these payment gateways so that users can buy XRP more easily. Now, it uses standard credit card processing rails, the same payment networks that regular purchases also use, and it charges normal card fees too. In other words, if you use Apple Pay to buy, let's say, $100 worth of XRP on one of these applications, Apple isn't selling you the XRP. The app is, right? Apple Pay is just securely passing along your card information like it would for any other online purchase. And then, boom, you get XRP from the application. Apple's involvement is basically, you want to use your Apple Pay to pay for this. Sure, we'll charge your card. Have a nice day. Now, Google Pay works the same way too. Neither is backing the cryptocurrency. They're just not looking or blocking the transaction in the way that maybe your centralized banks would be. It's a kind of subtle difference here, but it is a crucial one nonetheless. Now, I do get why people are getting excited. If Apple or Google, ever officially endorsed a cryptocurrency, That would be pretty enormous, right? Imagine Apple announcing, we hold XRP in our treasury, or Google building crypto into their services. The news would send shockwaves through not just crypto, but mainstream finance too. So when a headline or a tweet hints at that, the XRP community ears, they do pick up, right? We're all hungry for signs of mass adoption and big names validations. But it's like being an indie band, I guess, an indie band fan, hoping a superstar shouts out your favorite track, right? Now, you want to believe it so badly. And trust me, I was right there with you all. At least for a second, I pictured a scenario where Apple and Google were stealthily opening up the floodgates for XRP. My mind went wild. Is this why XRP's been quietly climbing? Did we miss some kind of memo? The FOMO was real for just a hot minute. But our friend Vincent brought everyone back to reality. He actually went on X and posted a very clear message to bust the myth. Apple Pay endorsing XRP busted. I would want nothing more than for that to occur, but this news circulating now is not true. He said, right? Now, that's coming straight from someone deeply involved in the space, not some random clickbait account, no. And honestly, I appreciate that kind of clarity. Right? We need mythbusters in crypto an awful lot to keep us all grounded and to avoid all that kind of pump and dump BS that some of those accounts are trying to generate. Anyway, anything for a click, right? Anyway, Vincent basically did the community a huge favor here. He clarified that while an official endorsement would be pretty awesome, it just isn't happening via this news. So, bottom line, Apple and Google are not suddenly pro XRP. They're just being used as payment methods at least by some kind of third-party services for these crypto applications. There's no secret partnership here. There's no corporate crypto love affair. But before I do continue with what all of this might mean for us, I've got to slip in something very important. And this might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, that's the disclaimer mode now turned off. Let's get back into it. So, now that we've debunked the headline, you must be wondering, so what? If it's not a big deal, then why are we even talking about this? And those are some pretty great questions, aren't they, right? Because the reason that I think that this story is still worth your time is because it highlights something pretty cool and something cautionary all at the same time. Now, the cool part is that buying crypto keeps getting even easier and more mainstream. Think about it, right? A few years ago, the idea of using Apple Pay to directly buy XRP would have sounded a bit crazy. Right, you'd have to sign up on an exchange, deal with a clunky interface, maybe do a wire transfer or something crazy. Now, of course, you literally just use the same payment app you would buy pizza on with the same kind of processes in the background, and you get XRP as a result. That is indeed progress. It's a sign of how far crypto adoption has come quietly in the background. Apple and Google might not be formally endorsing XRP, but then also not putting up roadblocks here. They could have easily said no crypto purchases through our systems. But you know what? They didn't. So indirectly, their platforms are facilitating crypto access for everyday people. That is a win for the crypto space, even if it's not the splashy partnership rumor that we would all maybe hope for. So, to put it another way, crypto is sneaking into the mainstream without the big advertisements, but through convenience. Now, you know how in a good movie soundtrack, right, the music kind of blends in so well that you almost don't really notice it influencing your mood, right? Well, Apple Pay and Google Pay integrating into crypto applications is kind of just like that. It's making crypto just another thing that you can buy almost unnoticed in your everyday life. There's no fanfare, there's no big press releases, it's just a simple integration. And sometimes that's how revolutions happen, quietly and steadily. Now, the cautionary part of this story is a lesson in not jumping to conclusions. And it's a reminder to double check all of the hype. Now, we live in an age where one tweet can pump a coin's price or spark 1,000 YouTube videos, right? And oh, the irony in this one, I know. But not all that glitters is indeed gold. Now, this Apple, Google XRP rumor is a textbook example of that. A legit piece of news, yes, you can use Apple Pay to buy XRP on certain applications. And it got distorted into Apple and Google are backing XRP within the echo chamber of social media. So it's kind of like a game of telephone that's gone completely wrong. By the time the news reached some people, it morphed into something entirely different. Right? We've got to be very careful with that, because in crypto, critical thinking is going to be your best friend. Now, here is something interesting. This wasn't even the first time Apple Pay and Google Pay had been roped into XRP purchases, because back in 2023, the exchange Uphold rolled out a feature called 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰 that actually integrated both Apple Pay and Google Pay into their systems. They even extended it to popular XRP wallet Sum, right? Allowing users in over 150 countries to buy XRP through those kind of payment methods. And yes, you did indeed hear that right, 150 countries, not just 40. So it was already possible a couple of years ago for a huge chunk of the world to get XRP with Apple or Google Pay, courtesy of Uphold integration. And guess what? Apple wasn't endorsing XRP then either. It was just another on-ramp for people to access crypto more easily. Hardly anyone back then actually spun it as a Apple partners with XRP BS headline, probably because it was clearly presented as Uphold's feature. But here we are in 2025, and a new platform does a similar integration across 40 different countries, and somehow the headline got way over-interpreted. Now, I find that a little bit funny and a little bit frustrating all at the same time. The lengths that some people go to for a click. Pretty crazy. Now, it shows how sometimes the narrative can get away from the facts if there is some kind of incentive to do so. The silver lining, though, is that now more people know that these integrations exist. Now, if you're an XRP enthusiast, it's actually pretty useful to know that you can use Apple Pay or Google Pay on certain platforms to quickly top up your XRP. Maybe your friend who's new to crypto finds it may be reassuring. Oh, I can just use Apple Pay. That feels safe and familiar. Now, it lowers the barrier for entry for sure. Just remember, I cannot stress this enough, familiar payment methods does not equal corporate endorsement or protection. Using Apple Pay to buy crypto doesn't mean that Apple will cover your losses or that they vetted the crypto that you're buying itself. It's purely about convenience. Now, after hearing all of this, you might be thinking, all right, I've got it. Rumor debunked. But what does it mean for me as an XRP holder or someone who's interested in crypto? Well, you know what? I'm glad that you asked. It means that access is improving, but it's also responsibility that still falls on us to actually debunk the BS. Now, let's break all of that down. Access improving. Now, as I said, it's easier than ever to buy crypto right now. You don't necessarily have to wire money to a shady exchange in some far-off land. You can use your everyday apps. Heck, by now, even PayPal and Cash apps, are in the game for crypto. So personally, I think Revolut is fantastic. Now, so the on-ramps are, of course, more friendly here. That's great for adoption because the simpler it is to buy, the more newcomers that we can bring into the space. We want grandma and grandpa to be able to buy XRP effortlessly as they get a little bit, more comfortable with crypto in the same way that they might order themselves an Uber. Now, it's not quite there yet for sure, but it's inching closer in my opinion. Apple Pay's integration is just a step in that direction. Now, the responsibility part. So even though buying crypto is getting easy, the onus is still on you to actually do it in a smart way and keep it safe, right? Because neither Apple nor Google are going to be holding your hand through the world of crypto safety here. So let me share a couple of personal rules that I personally live by, especially in the light of this news. Rule 1, spread your eggs. Don't just one basket. Now by that, I mean exchanges and platforms, right? One thing that I always do is sign up for and test out multiple different crypto exchanges. Think of it like having a plan A, plan B, plan C. Why? Because you just never know when one exchange might go down, freeze withdrawals, or suddenly halt XRP trading due to liquidity-based issues or whatever curveball they want to throw at you. Now, we've seen it happen many times before. An exchange goes offline right when the market is going wild. Now, if you only have one account, you're going to be stuck waiting here. So, if you have, let's say, I don't know, a Kraken account, a Coinbase account, a Bitstamp, a Binance, a BitGet, a 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰, whatever it might be, whatever you're comfortable with and allowed to use, that is, depending on your jurisdiction, well, you have alternative options then, don't you? Now, I can't tell you how much peace of mind that actually brings. Now, I've been in scenarios where Exchange A was overwhelmed, but I seamlessly just hopped over to Exchange B to get the job done. Now, it's kind of like having multiple escape routes in an emergency. This strategy has saved me in volatile times more than once, and I highly recommend it. And on that note, I do want to share a timely opportunity and also be fully transparent that it's one of my affiliate partnerships that actually supports the channel here. Now, recently I've partnered up with Kraken, one of the most reputable crypto exchanges that are out there, and they have a very special promotion for XRP holders. Now, if you sign up using my link that's in the description and on my website, you'll find all the links in the description below, by the way, and you trade at least $100 worth of any cryptocurrency, excluding stablecoins, within 30 days, Kraken will reward you with $25 in XRP. Yes, free XRP for doing something that you might do anyway. Now, it's a limited time offer. So if you were thinking of adding another exchange to your roster, it's a pretty sweet incentive, and it aligns perfectly with that strategy of testing out exchanges before you really do need them. So by using my affiliate link that's in the description, you'll be helping support the channel here too at no extra cost to yourself, since Kraken will kick back a small support to the channel for just referring you. Now, it's a win-win situation because you're going to get some XRP, some extra XRP, and a new exchange account. And I get the support to keep making this content. Now, of course, make sure that you read the full terms and conditions. They're linked in the description down below as well, because unfortunately, Kraken isn't going to be available in every single region around the world. So you need to make sure that you are actually eligible. And of course, it's probably worth noting as well that this is a promotion that Kraken is bringing to you guys. It's not affiliated with YouTube or Cheeky Crypto in any other way. But ultimately, having multiple options ready and ideally set them up way before the next bullish run hits is going to be a pretty smart idea in my opinion. Rule number 2. And this is an important one. Not your keys, not your coins. Now, I know you've probably heard this a million times over, but it's always worth repeating, especially when we're talking about buying crypto through convenient methods. See, when you buy XRP via an app using Apple Pay or Google Pay, you've got to ask, where does that XRP actually end up? Often it just sits in a custodial wallet on whatever service it is that you use to buy it. Now that's fine for trading or for short-term use, but I never leave assets on an exchange that I'm looking to hodl for the long term, right? It's just not a good idea. The risk of hacks, freezes, or even the companies going under, I mean, who remembers FTX, right? I sleep just much better knowing that my crypto, especially my XRP, is stashed away in cold storage that I control. Now for me, that means using a hardware wallet. Personally, I use Ledger hardware wallets. I have 4 stacks Ledger hardware wallets right here as an example, right? Now, I've been around the block many times over, and trust me here, the security, it keeps my private keys offline and safe. Now, if you have not yet explored hardware wallets yet, I highly encourage you all to do your own research on them. Even if you only have a modest crypto bag, protecting it is going to be paramount. And here is a pro tip. Always buy your hardware wallets directly from the manufacturer. There are stories out there of people getting scammed by buying devices from third-party sellers that turned out to be tampered with or fake devices. So, you do not want to have or be a part of one of those stories or be included in those nightmares, right? Now, to make it really easy, I have a direct link to Ledger that is on my website, which will take you straight to Ledger's official website store. Right? It is an affiliate link, which means if you do use it, it supports the channel here at no extra cost to yourselves, but it does throw a little support to the channel. But regardless of the whole affiliate part here, the key message is this. You go straight to the source. for things like this. You don't go to some kind of dodgy website, third-party website, because it's it has a deal on, for example, you might save $10. If it's too good to be true, it usually is. And there are deals that you can get from Ledger directly anyway, right? So just do yourself a solid favor here, and I cannot stress it enough. Don't buy a Ledger device or any other hardware wallet from some random third-party marketplace. Your future self will thank you. Using a hardware wallet, that means that even if Apple or Google or, an exchange changes their policies tomorrow, the crypto, it's going to be safe in your pocket, right? You're not dependent on any one platform's security or goodwill. It's the ultimate freedom and responsibility rolled all into one device, right? And isn't that the kind of point of crypto in the first place? Be your own bank. Okay, by the way, speaking of security and smart moves, here's a quick shout out. Right, we've built a fantastic community of like-minded crypto enthusiasts on our free educational Discord. It is a great place to learn, share tips, and stay ahead of the curve on stories like this. We keep each other sharp. One of our members actually shared Vincent's debunking post in real time, which helped a whole lot of us avoid getting swept up in the rumor. So, what is the big takeaway from this Apple, Google, and XRP saga? Well, for me, it's the double lesson then, isn't it? Don't believe the hype without verification, but also recognize the quiet progress that is happening in the background. I mean, sure, Apple and Google, they aren't officially partnering up with XRP today. Rumor busted, case closed. But the fact that their payment technology is being used, with their permission, of course, to buy crypto is still actually quite a noteworthy step. Now, it shows that the divide between traditional technology and crypto is getting even smaller. We always kind of envisioned a future where crypto is seamless and is seamlessly woven into everyday life. And guess what? This is that in action. Now, it's not a headline-grabbing partnership, sure, but it is integration, and integration is how adoption grows. It also highlights how the XRP community and crypto communities in general are vigilant and rather passionate. Now, we're so eager for good news that sometimes we leap before we actually look, and that's okay at times. I would rather be part of an enthusiastic community than maybe a pathetic kind of one, right? Now, the key is having voices like Vincent Van Code and hopefully channels like mine here to stay, or at least to say, all right, let's examine this more critically, right? That balance between excitement and critical thinking will keep us both motivated and safe. Okay, imagine explaining this story to a friend then. A rumor started that Apple and Google endorsed XRP. It was not true. But in the process, I learned that I can use Apple Pay to buy crypto on some applications, and it reminded me to keep my coins safe. Now, it's a pretty healthy outcome, isn't it? You debunk a myth and you learn a practical tip. It's not bad for a day in crypto land, right? So, as we kind of wrap things up, I want to pose a question for you to ponder. How do you see big technology interacting with crypto in the future? Do you think that we're ever going to get an official endorsement or partnership, like an Apple crypto, or maybe Google launching a token? Or will it be more of this behind-the-scenes integration stuff, where one day using crypto is as easy as using Apple Pay and nobody even really bats an eye? Now, there's no straight answer to this, but it is fun to think about the direction that we're heading in here. Right? Personally, I suspect more quiet integrations are on the way, and by the time an official endorsement happens, crypto might already be so common that it doesn't feel like a huge announcement. Either way, I'm going to be here for it, researching, myth-busting, and sharing it all with you. So next time that you see a flashy headline about XRP or any of your investments, remember this story. Take a deep breath, check the facts, and consider the source. If it sounds too amazing to be true, it just might be. But there could still be a nugget of progress that is actually worth noting. So no, Apple and Google aren't secretly pumping our XRP bags, at least not yet. But we are inching closer to a world where crypto lives in everyday applications, one small integration at a time. In the meantime, stay informed, Stay safe out there. And if you found this deep dive helpful and you want to say, at least have some more of the real talk crypto updates, don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you all in the next video.